Hi, I'm Kevin, and this is the editing of the street photography I did the other day in Gilbert Heritage District, which is just off of Gilbert Road, downtown Gilbert, next to the water tower. And I already did the culling. I went to McDonald's and I just used my phone to do the culling. One of the nice things about using Lightroom, uh, the cloud version. And yeah, now we're going to delete these from the online cloud. Delete. Rejected. Gone. Okay. Now from here, I typically do 2 passes, but one of the things that happens to me when I'm editing or culling is I'm like, oh, that's a cool picture, and then I'll do some minor edits. So some of these ones with stars are definitely some of my favorites, and I've already touched them, which I shouldn't have done, but I did. But it doesn't really matter in the long run. You just do what you can. I find editing on the phone not as flexible and not as real as I would want it to be, because you can't get some of those little tiny details and influence them. But today we can. Okay. We're just going to go in one by one. Some of these are going to be not worth editing. I've rejected a bunch, but these are 57 okay images. Now, one problem I deal with, this isn't the image that I would put in my portfolio or necessarily want to show, but I feel like it shows the story of how I got to the image. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, that's the image I actually liked a lot. Enough that I put stars on it before I even edited. I love that word. I know that a lot of these are not going to be great, but they build up to the image. And as someone sharing the journey with photography, I'm not a master photographer. I'm just an enthusiast who loves this, and I don't want to consume, I want to create. So here I am taking pictures. Now, these images, I chose them because they lead up. You can see, boom. Now, I'm going to reset this image. We're going to go back. Now, all of these images were shot with a handheld. I was crouched low to the ground and I was holding it kind of at my feet. And some of them I did prop against the ground, some of them I didn't, but I am pleasantly pleased by the fact that this is so centered on the water tower and that they all successfully I could turn this into a GIF, right? GIF. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide on the crop. 5x7, and I'm just going to go as big as possible right now for 5x7. And one thing is it's all centered on the water tower, so I might as well put that in the middle. Right? And I don't foresee, looking through the images, I don't foresee a lot of foreground element interest, which is, in sincere critique, is a problem. This is an empty space. That's not good. This is an empty space. It's not really good. It's not the best picture, but it is a good picture in my opinion. So that's the crop. And why am I editing this image if I don't plan on using it? Because I might create a GIF. That could be fun. It's fun to I enjoy when photographers share the journey of the photo. I admire the perfect picture, the images that I'm like, how did you get that? But this shows that I didn't just take one picture and they were in the perfect spot. I was in burst mode and I was spraying and praying, and I was lucky that they walked up. Now, let's do some edits. Exposure is going to be finicky here. I cannot bump it too high because if I do, that water tower is definitely overexposed, right? And it looks bad. But as you can see, there's not really anything to show. There's not really anything to show in the foreground. It's just dirt and maybe some cracks in the asphalt. So there's no real benefit to bumping it too much. I think you see this gradient of the orange of the sunset in Arizona. This is a classic Arizona sunset. I like the idea of the water tower separating from the darkness of the sky. And I don't want it to turn all gray, so I'm not gonna bump it up too much higher. And then we're gonna click on this button. Is it clicked? Yeah, it is clicked. Okay. So this red light is overexposed, as you can see. And then, that's interesting. I thought the blacks would be clipped. They're not clipped. And then we're going to just play with shadows. Literally does almost nothing because it's all going to be in the blocks. Now, I am noticing how raising this up almost increases the blurriness of the figures, which is a good and bad thing. It makes them go from this soft, feathery objects to quite blurry. So I'm not going to do that. Contrast makes that orange really dark, and it brings the gradient of the black down, which is not what I want. I do love the deep orange though. I will say I love that. And I love the fact that it brings the orange into the gradient more, but I don't love the fact that it makes the background completely eat the top of the water tower. So exposure is really tricky. At nighttime, street photography, what was I going for? This is where I believe that street photography is kind of the abstract art of photography. It can be really subjective of what's good and what's not good. And really, it's if I show this to a stranger, do they find it interesting? I don't know. For me, it's interesting. Oh, highlights make everything. You see how they add whiteness to this gradient? It's funny how that works. Yeah, it's so white. So dark. Okay, so look at the histogram, add highlights. It's bringing the colors further to the right. We're gonna click on that just to see if anything's changed. So when we get there, that's when it clips. I don't want it to clip. On the water tower particularly. And I think that right now I wonder if this is even good to do. I don't. I'm not. The problem with the sliders is they're global edits, which means you're not just affecting this section or the lights, you're affecting all the highlights. And I am not enjoying that because this image is very complicated in some regards. If you have the lights from the actual lampposts, and you have the artificial lights basically, and then you have the fading sunset. So I'm definitely gonna bump this up. I don't want the starburst on the lamppost to go dead. I don't want the artificial lights on the water tower to lose all their texture. I don't want the glow of the sun to be whitish. I really like this deep orange color. So you see how it's white? Ugh. So we'll go back up here. And I feel like that's really changing this. This is for the better. And I'm not just making this edit for this image. This is not the image that we're going to end with. This is the image leading up to. And I'm going to make a GIF out of this just to show the walking and positioning. I do think this image could really benefit from the S-curve. It's going to be all of this is changing the way that orange appears. I'm just looking, you know? Yeah. I love that this brings in the gradient to behind the water tower, and this deep orange is still living in here. Those red dots are going to disappear. There's no data there anyways. I don't think I'm losing anything really from that. I don't think it's detracting from the image. But, um, yes. Let's see. Now we're gonna bump the saturation. That's unnatural, right? That's an unnatural orange. I'm gonna go just about there. Then we're gonna go to vibrance. And interestingly, the vibrance really affects the gradient, right? You see how it brings it in? I might even lower the saturation and keep this gradient because I like the fact that the horizon's the deep color and the sky is a fade. I just like it. There's no other reason. We could do this and we could mess with luminance. That would make it darker. We could bump it up whiter, right? Which that's what I've been messing with and focused on this whole time. So I don't know if this is really the right thing to be doing. This brings the orange back into the gradient. Now, is it a nice orange? Oh, okay. So you can see the color selector is messing just the gradient. That's one reason why I like to go to the extremes. It just really helps you separate what am I affecting, you know? And we could make this is fake. But if we wanted to, that would be how to do it. The other thing is, see, there's no... Yeah. A lower part of the gradient's being affected. Yeah. That's so gross. So if we leave it here, it's monotone, it's one color, it's black and orange. You know, we go here, it turns yellow, we stay here, it stays in the oranges, we start going to the reds, right? Red in the sky, in my experience, is caused by clouds. Orange is dust. I'm just talking this out. I don't have this written down. I haven't done like a scientific documentary of this, but that's what my thoughts are just thinking about it in this moment. I want it to be orange. Interesting how, okay. I want it to be orange. Now, this feels really high to me. Looking at it for so long. I'm looking at this corner right here, and I'm wondering, I don't want that lamppost that is available. This light is always going to be cut in half, And I just want it to not look like a jagged edge. I want it to be a logical edge. I definitely don't want this little speck of light. This rock is weird. Even in the daytime I look at it and I'm like, that's a weird rock. It doesn't fit into the setting. Which is why I know it's a rock, because I've noticed it. It bothers me, okay? And then so we're gonna do a gradient, linear gradient, and we're gonna bring it up from the ground because there's so much black and black. I just want to see if we can get some of the details. And the sky is empty. There's not a cloud in the sky. So there's not gonna be a texture there, where here there might be. Wow. Exposure's doing nothing. There's no. Yeah, this is just black. Black is day, night. Do you see what I mean? Like, even it is not. Yeah, that's what we're gonna delete. This is caused by the settings I chose to shoot with. This means I didn't get I didn't get enough data in the foreground shadows to really do much. So it isn't really working. I'm gonna copy these editing settings. Not gonna worry about it. I don't need that. And we're going to copy. And then this is the series. And we're gonna paste it on all of these. And we're gonna go boom, boom. This is the series. Boom, boom. I wish it would. It's not showing the edited version. What happened here? I must have been slightly delayed. So where did that guy come from? Oh. Honestly, as far as a GIF goes, this is too much of a jump to me. This is cool. And I could go backwards too. Just make it loop. Anyways, this is the one I really like. The reason I really like this image is because it's like dark. It's got layers to it. I feel like the sky is one layer, then you have the lamppost, then you have the water tower, and then you have this guy, and he detracts from the colliding things. He's not colliding, but this lamppost is colliding. And that's what I mean is you got sky, lamppost, water tower, molded and then him, and that makes it pretty interesting. I honestly should probably edit the images to fit the hero image, and right now this is too far to the left. I'm trying just to get to the point where oh. And that red light is distracting. But it's natural, so I'm not gonna delete it. Natural as in it is a light there. I like this because he's not dead center. That's not dead center. Center is like right there, but the eye naturally is being drawn. The gradient's so dark on the lamppost. I don't like that. I want to bump that up. And we're losing color in the gradient by doing this. But I would rather bump it up and really separate the lamppost from the sky. You see how that worked? That's 2 stops, which is a lot. Then we're gonna go down and I'm gonna mess with the saturation. I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna see if I can select specifically the color next to the lamppost. You see, it is a different color. So I don't want it to be gray. It's too gray right now. I'd rather it be brown than gray. That's too far, for sure. But it is an intriguing distinction. This is very brown. And it's kind of turning the sky. It's tricking the eye. I have to look with my glasses. I'm looking at different angles because sometimes with the light in my face while recording these videos, it makes it different and my face reflects into it. So I'm just trying to be subtle. And then this is so brown right here. I wonder if I can make it more orange-y. The red, right? So we got red and we got greenish yellow. So we'll go from green to yellow and then orange. Brown is orange, actually. If you're ever making something, I think the luminosity of orange is what makes it brown or not. So I don't want it to be too yellow where it's sickly, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good. And then now this is my hero image. I did the first one just because we were there, but this is the one that I would put in my street photography of Gilbert, Arizona book, you know? I'm going to skip over color grading because it's mostly monotone and it's black. So let's see what happens when we add texture to it. Interesting. It's catching the grain in the sky or the noise in the sky caused by the sensor, and it's also doing the center of the person there. It's focusing on the little bit on top of the person. So I'm not really loving it because I really like the smoothness of the people. So if we remove texture, you see how the computer's like freaking out next to the objects in the sky? It really softens the image, which could be cool if we selected these people. I could remove texture to give them that extra blur effect. But I don't want to lose his nose. Okay, now clarity. Yeah, clarity's not where it's at this time. Too soft. I do like the idea of clarity affecting this light. It makes it interesting to me because that light pulls me in. It pulls me in, and then I'm seeing him, and it's like I'm seeing layers, and I mean layers. Depth is the word. I'm seeing depth because of the way that's bright and he's close and big, so it's giving me this sense of perspective. It's cool. Dehaze. I don't think we're gonna want to dehaze because dehaze is gonna crush this gradient, and I don't think that's what we want. Yeah. It's removing the color, but if we make it hazier, it's raising the gradient, which is beautiful. It's created a line here which I don't like, but this space around the light post is a nice tone to me. So I'm gonna lower it because I don't want a line. I bet it's okay. Then vignette. We already have a vignette naturally from the dark here, so I don't think we're gonna want another vignette. Like if we did all the way, yeah, there's no point in a vignette. Grain. This is more lovely grain, tasty grain. Some people really care about it, other people don't, but I add a little bit because I feel like it helps with the gradients. The gradient of color. And I would print this image, review it, and go from there. For sure. Denoise. There's gonna be a lot of noise in this image. Not only did we add green, right? But also I'm shooting on a crop sensor at night. It just doesn't do well in that situation. Now, if you see here, you can see murky shades of yellow, almost green. They look like water that's been poured on a table and it's like spreading. You can see green on the edge of the water tower, green on the edge of his mouth here particularly. That's noise. And what causes noise? Well, your sensor has a bunch of different pixels and they have to decide how much energy they're going to represent and how sensitive they are, and the computer has to decide if it's good or not. As from my understanding, it's just the computer's guesses. And if you want more uniformity, more accuracy to this situation, you have to get a better sensor or edit it. And this is one thing true to life, is one thing to understand about editing and coming to terms with it is the fact that this entire process is artificial. Capturing light is an artificial thing. It has always been done through technology and techniques that are refined over time, and that even your camera, whatever camera you're using from film, it is always an imperfect capture. It does not capture the moment perfectly. So no matter what you do, you are expressing how you feel or how you felt or how you want people to feel. Like there's aspiration, documentation, and reflection. Well, no, documentation. Anyways, that's just me ranting right now. But photography is never a pure documentation of the situation. These people were not blurry to the naked eye, right? And stuff like it's just not like, oh, you don't touch it. Like their editing is really just a furthering of the mission, which is to convey an idea through an image. And an idea is typically understood through an emotion that people have. So that's my rant about editing and how it's okay to edit your images. I'm gonna mess with this color slider to try to... I'm looking at this green particularly, and it already has taken away some of the watery noise I feel happens. I don't really feel like it's addressing the green in the... How far are we zooming in? Oh, only 100%. Dang, that is a lot of noise. It's not really addressing the green that's appearing here. And let me see, when we remove all... So I am bumping it up. One of the things I'm gonna do... I love how the luminance is making him a little more smooth. I don't want to lose his nose, you know? So I'm gonna lower it. But you could completely blur him by making them smooth. That's the funny thing about sharpening, and luminance. They are kind of on this balance beam, luminance and sharpening. Luminance makes it like, oh, all these nearby pixels, you're gonna fade more into the same color, slightly closer to each other. And then sharpening is like, you're gonna have these ones are gonna go deeper into this direction, and the other ones are gonna go in the opposite direction. You nearby ones are gonna try to separate in color, and that's what sharpening is. Now, luminance gets rid of noise, because noise is that contrast between all the different colors, but when it's happening in a wider plane, it's not showing a line, it's not showing an object in the image, it's mixing, making it just like crispy looking. So I'm really going on rants lately, but I'm realizing I didn't sharpen the image yet, and I want to do that. I do think it looks cool in black and white. The image doesn't really need that much sharpening, because the focus is not the sharp things. The focus is this blurry object of a ghost walking through the world. And I even text a friend about this, and I was like, look at these zombies. You know? Now, remember what I was talking about, noise? So this contains that increasing of noise to the edges of objects that the program can detect. It's looking for the lines. And sometimes I wish I could just get this as a picture. Okay. I guess I could do a screenshot. Anyways. Now let's go back in. I still feel like I want him to look human. I want the hat to be apparent. I want this to be obviously his face. And his face has his brow, his nose, his mouth. From a distance, we're not seeing it though. I don't know if this is gonna fix that. What if we lowered? Oh no. I don't feel like I'm making significant changes right now. I feel like this is probably a done image. And I'm gonna give it a 4, because I love it because it has layers. I love it because I'm drawn in by the brightness of the lamp. I love it because the perspective, the scale of him is contrasted to him and the lamp, and he's not touching that. I really like that. I do wish there was something here. I do wish there were clouds, but it's a simple image. It's not the most complex thing, but I do really like it. So I'm going to give it a 4. Now, this was later, and the sky's color changed. So the orange is fading. It's turning into a blue, dark sky. And this is where we have the question. Is it worth editing this image? Does it tell a different story? Does it tell a better story than this? This person's obviously looking at their cell phone. Well, to me, obviously. One thing I don't like about this is it brings focus to the lamppost. And I don't want that lamppost focused on because it's blending into the water tower. So honestly, I do love the change of color, the the two colors that we could really pull out those blues and make the orange, but it doesn't have the layers of this image. This is way more interesting to look at. And I'm just gonna cancel and copy. And then I'm gonna paste. We're gonna reset that. I totally changed settings. You can definitely, let's look at that. So 1.6 f9 200 ISO. This is 200 f9 1/20. So longer shutter speed, as in more time that the shutter was open, and same aperture though. ISO is basically is the same. This is cropping a little bit more. Intriguing. This is the image I like. I'm gonna make sure I got this right. I'm gonna do the crop. And just because these ones kind of tell the story, I kind of like, I think it's cute. It's like 4-frame animation, which would look posterized, but I could do a yeah. Anyway, yeah. And we're gonna paste the crop. Yeah, I did move. You see the horizon's a little different. Now that I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, is my horizon tilted? And if it is tilted, how bad? It's funny how there's a light there. That's reflecting off the car onto, and yeah. I want the water tower is the guiding feature. I think, right? Yeah. All right, so that's the image. I'm gonna copy it again, and we're just gonna do it. So I'm gonna make these 3s. 3 is like my baseline, like this is a good image. I would show it to people, but 4s and 5s are where I go, I think this is interesting, and I would print that. I'm not gonna print 3s. 2s are, can I save this? Is something in here worth saving? Which happens with bird photography a lot for me, because I'm like, oh, I've never seen this bird before and I barely got a picture of it. So I'm gonna keep it because it's a 2, even though it's badly exposed, whatever. And yeah, so, but with street photography, this is the one I would show. This is the one These might be a little post, and then we could have like a paper animation opening up to that. That'd be cool.